This might look like a fashion show, but it's not. These are prostitutes selling their charms in a Damascus nightclub. The chaotic situation in their country has forced many to seek refuge in neighboring Syria. Because they are so vulnerable, these women represent a great business opportunity for the Syrian prostitution networks. They find themselves lured in, trapped, and in the end, dependent on prostitution.
Some give the number 50,000 Iraqi prostitutes here in Syria. But the prostitution business has always existed here. Before, they were Moroccans, Russians, Romanians, Lebanese and Syrians. So why Iraqis today? Because their occupied country has had to endure rapes, chaos, violence, war, forced immigration, poverty and death. So anything can happen in these situations.
I arrived in Syria after my husband was killed. I was alone with our 2 children. My aunt asked me to come here and join her, telling me I would work alongside her in a factory. I was surprised when I realized that my aunt had lied to me concerning what she was doing here. I tried to leave and find another job, but I couldn't even find work as a cleaning lady. So in the end, I had no choice but to come back and continue working with her.
According to anti-prostitution militants, Fatima's story is not a unique case. Most become prostitutes to help their families survive back home. Some are kidnapped or even sold to pimps by their own family.
It's a major problem. It's hard to say how many Iraqi girls there are in Syria. Some have been raped before leaving Iraq, but the worst is those who have been sold by their family. For instance, the father or the uncle telling them to come here for so-called protection, and who end up selling them like some kind of merchandise in an indecent manner. Some were still virgins when they started.
Most of the girls in this club are younger than 16, some are only 12. The clients are usually rich young men from the Gulf countries ready to pay about $500 for a girl. The prostitutes earn about $60 per client. It's a large sum of money, but even that's not a guarantee of a better life. In this conservative society, they are considered as soiled, and it will be almost impossible for them to find a husband. Some former prostitutes are even killed by a relative for bringing shame on the family. In the end, they're the victims of both the war and the prostitution business, but also of a society which hides behind the veil of morality to avoid dealing with issues related to sexuality.